Hey there, good morning. It's Trisha with Easy E-mini Trade. And this morning I just want to show you on a multiple time frame analysis yesterday so you guys can get used to everything that we went over in the webinar last week. And so hopefully you find it helpful. So what you're looking at is the NQ from yesterday on a 15-minute here on the left, a 30-minute in the center, and a 60-minute on the right. And what we're looking at is the super trend stop on all these charts, and then also I have a 90 EMA and a 200 EMA. The 90 is yellow and the 200 is in red. And generally I put them on all the charts that I trade. So in looking at NQ yesterday at the open, you can see the dashed line here on the 15 and the 30. The 60 I didn't have one, so I just drew a line here. So in opening right here, you can see in opening we had the super trend stop above price on the 15, the 30, and the 60. So this was leading us to believe that we would have an easier time moving lower. Now you can see once it broke the super trend stop here on the 15, it held that 90, and this you'll see very frequently on the higher time frames especially, that those moving averages 90 and 200 EMA will hold very often as support and resistance. So right at the same time as that was hitting the 90 as resistance, you can see it was hitting here on the 30 on the super trend stop as resistance, as well as that 200 EMA. And then if you look a little bit further, you can see on the 60-minute it was hitting the 90 EMA. So on all these charts, you can see it was going to hit some form of resistance or another, right? So it does get closed above on the 15, but it never closes above on the 30. So therefore, now we have mixed messages. We have now, after this bar closes above on the 15-minute, now the super trend will start plotting below. So now we have it below on the 15, above on the 30, and above on the 60. So generally, when all three of these higher time frames don't agree with the super trend being on the same side of price, then generally it can make for some chop. So you can see it came down, tested the super trend as support, and then bounced off. Also, I'd like to point out that was also tagging the 200 EMA on the 60 as support. So we've got double confirmation here of that acting as a support area. Also, one other thing I'd like to point out is if you see price trading in between, especially on these higher time frames, between the 90 EMA and the 200, generally price can get stuck within that area until finally it can close above or below. So anyway, I hope you find that helpful. Now, if you're trading the Slinky, yesterday morning was crazy, wild, and whippy, and generally we're using a 4 range and an 8 range for the filter. If it's that fast, then use a bigger chart. So what you're looking at here is the NQ on the 1 range, basically 4 range, 1 point range chart, and then over here 8 range, which equals 2 points on the NQ. So this is the entry chart I typically like to use on the right here, but it's way too fast yesterday, and so you just have to make adjustments. You know, technically this was a valid short off the open. I don't trade right off the open, but it's valid because we got closed below the super trend here. And then if we look at our double stochastics, you know, per the settings that we used in the webinar, it's valid for a short because that red line's in oversold. Now, there's no way you can get in likely. Yesterday I had a few not great fills when it's moving that fast. You know, you can get slippage getting into the trade as well. So if you're finding it is moving so fast that you can't get in, couple options: sit on your hands till it quiets down, or up the size of the chart. So generally what I'll do is I'll up the size of the chart. So instead of trading off a 4 range for my entries, I'll trade off a 6 range and I'll use a 12 range for the filter instead of the 8. The other option, and I don't have any support or resistance drawn on these charts, but the other option that I have no problem with is taking an entry off the 8 range chart using the smaller super trend stop settings that we discussed during the webinar. And what I'll do is I'll watch for the double stochastic to agree for that entry. So you have a couple different options here. So if I were to look at this on a 1.5 range, so if I look at this as a 1.5 range for my entries, and then this is a 12 range for the filter, it will obviously form a lot slower. So here, this is still really early. This is still at 9:30. When price closed above the super trend stop here on the 6 range. But if you look at the 12 range down here, the red line's still in oversold, so this buy would be a pass. Also, don't forget that if you trade off a bigger chart, you're going to need a bigger stop, okay? So that wasn't valid technically. If you're using a filter, it's totally up to you if you want to use a filter or not. Right here we get a short, and the short is not valid because if you look to the left at the 3 range, you can see that red line is above 80 and overbought. So the short is not valid. This buy here, valid. Right here is valid because our red line's in overbought, so we can take that as a buy off the 6 range. Continue on. Right here at 9:37, short not valid because if you look over at the 12 range here, red line still in overbought. Oops, sorry, it didn't move. Oops, I thought I had it in sync. Sorry here, you guys. Here we go. So right there, you can see we're still in overbought, so this short would not be valid. And then you just go out throughout your day like that. And if that's still too fast, then increase it to another higher time frame. This buy right here not valid because our green line's under the red. If the red was in overbought up here, it would be valid. Or if the green line was above the red as this broke, then that would be valid. And again, many times you're getting the back and forth that they're not valid into news at 10. And the whole point of the filter chart is to keep us out of the chop. All right, you guys, so I hope you find that helpful, and just stick to your plan and don't get frustrated if the market's that fast. Just come back a little later when it's not. I know that we've been dealing with some crazy wild whippiness, but there's always another day and there's always another trade. So I hope that's helpful, and have a fantastic day.